Hi, welcome to another episode of Silver Fox Scotland. Now, the SNP have brought forth plans to introduce a new law into Scotland that will basically put a rent cap in place for certain what they call rental hotspots, such as the Old Town in Edinburgh, for example. But what will this do? Now, it's intended, of course, to protect tenants from very high rent increases. But what will it actually do? Well, it will guarantee that tenants have very high rent increases. And the reason is human nature. If you're a landlord and you have a good tenant, you are not inclined to raise his rent any more than you absolutely have to. You want to keep a good tenant sweet. So you keep them sweet by just giving them that small rent rise, as small as you can, because, you know, good tenants are good things to have. You don't want to replace a good tenant with a bad one. However, once you put controls like this in, you don't know what's going to happen in the future. You know, the future is uncertain. And so what tends to happen when a rent cap goes in is that landlords always increase by that cap. That rent cap level becomes the de facto rent cap. And where the landlord might have only put it up 1 or 2%, he will now put it up, in this case, to 6%, because that's what the rent cap will be. And of course, before that law becomes law, they will look to maximise the rent because they don't know what's going to happen in the future again. And so where even good tenants would have only had very small, gradual rent increases, now it's going to be a big chunk before it, and it's going to be 6%, 6%, 6%, 6%, and so forth. This is bad news for tenants. This is putting the rents up much faster than they would otherwise have gone. And it goes to highlight exactly how little the SNP understand how the rental market works. These people are lunatics. It's only going to be temporary, they say. It's a 5-year, and it will have a sunset clause. But it means that for basically 6 years, because you're going to have any rent increases before it, plus the 5 years of rent increases, it will go, 6, 6, 6, 6, 6. Cumulatively, it will probably be somewhere in the region of 50% increase in rents, forced on tenants by a government filled with absolute idiots. And this is the same government, of course, that wants to absolutely bring the Greens back in with their lunacy over rents. Now, if ever there was a government working against the well-being and interests of the people, it is the SNP government in Scotland. I don't necessarily think they're evil. I just think they're effing morons. Let me know what you think. Thanks a lot. Bye.